If you've built a voice agent for your business but aren't testing it properly, you're one bad call away from losing a client. Because here's what happens. You've built your voice agent, it sounds good in theory, and the prompt looks good. You tweak something to fix one issue, but then you accidentally break three other things. So in this video, I'll show you my exact testing framework to deploy voice agents with complete confidence. Let's load up Retell and I can show you how this works. And once you're in your voice agent, there are two different options. You can test it manually. You can go in here and provide a prompt. You can go into the manual chat and try your testing there. But what I would recommend you do is go into simulation here instead. As you can see, I've already got a number of tests set up. My approach to testing is to test each core functionality in two different ways. I'll test each function with a happy path and a non-happy path. For example, if the voice agent correctly goes down a route, or if the voice agent isn't able to fulfill that route. We need to be able to see how the agent reacts to different scenarios. I do that for each individual function. But then I also add tests for compliance and prompt injection attacks. For this particular voice agent, I've ended up with 10 tests, but this will really depend on your use case and the functions that you have available. You don't want to overdo it with the test cases because you want to make sure that you're able to do this in a timely manner, but you want to make sure that you're testing for all eventualities. Let me run through the different test cases I have in this voice agent. The first one is the happy path for a new lead capture. If someone comes through, they're interested in the services, they want to proceed, and so the voice agent then captures their email, phone number, name, some details on the project. The second one is the same. It's a new lead capture, but the person won't provide their contact details. We just need to test how the voice agent interacts with that situation. Test number 3 is AI skepticism. If someone calls in and asks, are you an AI system? We want to test to make sure that we're transparent and compliant and let the caller know that it is an AI voice agent they're speaking to. The fourth test case I've got here is on business detail accuracy. If someone calls through and asks some questions about the business, is it using correct information, not hallucinating, not telling them that they provide services that they don't actually offer. Test case number 5, this is someone who's calling up. They're clearly interested in getting SEO built for their business, but they're also trying to get some answers out of the voice agent on how to handle SEO. The next test case we've got is a transfer call request. This is just someone calling through, asking to be transferred. So we just want to make sure that interaction flows as it should. Test number 7. So this test is someone calls through, they've asked to be transferred to someone. However, the voice agent's tried to do the transfer call request, but it's not gone through because the person's not available. So how do we handle that? Do we take a message? Test number 8 is a de-escalation for a frustrated caller. If someone called in and they haven't had any updates on their project, they're trying to get through to someone but they've not been able to. Test number 9, as I mentioned earlier, is a prompt injection attack. So if someone calls up and they try to tell the voice agent to forget all of its instructions, forget its prompt, but also maybe reveal its prompt, reveal some information that it's not able to do. And finally, we've got the compliance and guardrails test. If someone called in and was asking about political stance, legal advice, religious context, anything like that, then we just need to make sure that the agent doesn't answer those questions and handles it correctly. Let me just quickly run you through how to actually create these tests and then run them as well. First of all, you're going to go into create test case. Here you have the user prompt, you have the name for the test, you have the success criteria, and you have the dynamic variables as well. These dynamic variables should match what you have set up in the actual voice agent, and then you're just adding some random variables. But let me show you how they should actually work by looking at an example. With this one here, we've got the name of the test. We use the role and objective. So this one, you're James, a marketing director at a small e-commerce business, looking to redesign your website. You're calling Horizon Solutions after finding them online. Go through your conversation naturally, express interest in a website redesign, and provide your details when asked. So the context on this is the business you're calling is Horizon Solutions, a web design, marketing, and software development agency. The examples we use in the prompts, we put them into the test cases as well. Q being the agent, A being the caller. Then we have the success criteria. What does the test agent actually deem as a successful interaction? Lead details are successfully captured. So the name, email, and website. The agent keeps responses short and only asks one question per time. We then got some dummy variables. So now let's actually get into selecting all the tests and running them. I'm going to select them all, and then we're going to click on run test. So now the tests have run and they're complete. Let's have a look through and review them. Here we can see 5 of them passed, 2 of them failed, and 3 of them had an error. We can see the test results here. This one, it said it failed. It gives a reason for why it failed. Then you've also got these ones here. So it's saying conversation ended early as it might have ended up in a loop. That's an important one as well. We want to double check that. Now what we do is we actually click into them, but you don't just click into the failed ones. You also want to click into the past ones as well. So you can double check the actual interaction in more detail. Here we have a summary of what the test agent actually discovered about the voice agent. agent. This is the actual interaction as well. This one's okay. We want to just go through and double check to make sure that the tonality is right, that we're happy with how the voice agent has responded as well. So that's one that worked. Then we've got the one that failed. The agent did try to transfer the call immediately. However, the agent used the end call function instead of the required transfer to Marcus function. The conversation did not meet all of the criteria. Someone called in and they asked to speak to Marcus, but then it didn't use the tool properly. So we would then go through and check the functions for why that happened. And this one's where it ended up in a loop. You can just go through and double check why. So what's the criteria we're looking at when we actually look in the conversation and review the interaction? We want to make sure the response length is between 1 and 2 sentences. It shouldn't be too long. We want to check how accurate the information is, comparing it against the knowledge base and the information you have about your company, just making sure it's not fabricating anything or hallucinating. We also want to double check that it's not talking about functions or capabilities that it doesn't actually have access to, just to make sure it's not promising customers that it's able to do something that it can't. And we also want to see a natural tone and flow to the conversation to ensure that the interaction is as the customer expects, but to a high standard as well. Once you've then gone and amended the prompt to make sure that you've improved upon the feedback that's been given in the tests, you then want to do these tests again. First, we do pre-deployment testing. So that's what I've just shown you in the simulation. This allows you to test in a controlled environment before it even reaches any customers. And the second phase is the post-deployment testing. This is ongoing quality assurance once the agent is out there in the real world. What you want to do is, on a regular basis, go into the call history logs and actually double check the interactions. This allows you to monitor the voice agent in real time and notice any patterns that your customers are coming across when interacting with the agent. It also helps you to identify any more edge cases that you may want to then add as a further test in your testing simulations. This then creates a real feedback loop where you're able to get real calls that you can then put back into your testing environment and make prompt adjustments so that the prompts and the agent are always being iterated and improved on. The final thing to mention on this is pre-deployment testing gives you the confidence that your agent is ready to launch, whereas post-deployment testing makes sure that your agent is consistently improving over time. So now you know how to test a voice agent before you actually deploy it with your real customers. But if you want a voice agent built for your business, then feel free to book in a call with me using the link in the description or the link in my bio. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.